Stay tuned to PBS 39 as we focus on the arts with the Bach Choir of Bethlehem and share a special performance from the oldest American choir of its kind. Plus, we visit a local arts program that celebrates the culture of a Bethlehem neighborhood by pairing middle school students with a professional photographer. Learn more about Faces of the South Side and meet the latest PBS 39 Student Artist of the Month coming up right now on Focus. Focus is for our community.
Focus showcases the people,
The places, and the issues that matter to you.
Focus on what matters.
You never know what you're going to see when you tune into Focus.
Support for Focus is provided by Univest, Banking, Insurance, Investments, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Focus, broadcast from the PPL Public Media Center at PBS 39. I'm Laura McHugh. In this episode, we focus on arts and begin in the historic Central Moravian Church in Bethlehem. On select Tuesdays at noon, people fill the pews and balcony to enjoy the Bach Choir of Bethlehem. For more on this special performance series, here's Focus reporter Grover Silcox.
Thanks, Laura. The renowned Bach Choir of Bethlehem and the Bach Festival Orchestra perform the works of the 18th century musical genius Johann Sebastian Bach, and the works of other master composers who either influenced Bach or were influenced by him. The choir musicians who have performed Bach's works from the Lehigh Valley to London and around the world bring it home once a month, 7 times a year. The concerts are free, offered to those who love this music or want to experience it perhaps for the first time. In this historic church, adults and children, connoisseurs of Bach's music and neophytes, share the experience of a music that, in the words of noted cellist Pablo Casals, reaches the heart of every noble thought and in the most perfect way.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. The Bach Choir of Bethlehem is the oldest Bach choir in the United States. It was founded in 1898 and gave its first festival performances in March of 1900 in this building, in the Central Moravian Church. The first performance of Bach's Mass in B minor was heard in the United States, March 27, 1900. And so the choir has gone on from there. Our partner in all of this is the Bach Festival Orchestra, which is an orchestra of professional musicians. They have tremendous careers in performing the music of Bach. This is a concerto for 2 trumpets by Vivaldi. He was a major influence as a composer on the young J.S. Bach. The third movement especially, the 2 trumpets go from C, D, 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 up to high C. They play these triads up to high C. It's a beautiful concerto, 2 trumpets and strings. Here we go.
These are the highest, possibly the most virtuosic trumpet parts that have been written. And it's a thrill and a privilege to be able to play them.
We have the series we call Bach at Noon, which we do 7 months a year in Bethlehem and 3 months a year in Allentown. One of the comments I get at Bach at Noon, people say, it's a blessing. These concerts are a blessing in our lives.
It's just beautiful. It's very comforting. It's beautiful.
Bach choir is drawn together by the love of the music, the love of the shared experience, the love of performing.
something that I cherish, and it means so much to me. Spiritually, just bringing people the joy, bringing people peace, knowing that there's an impact in somebody's life, somebody's soul at that moment is really special.
My violin's really interesting. It's a Carlo Giuseppe Testori. It was actually made in 1703. There is a series of people who played it from 1703 to me, and I feel them in there. It probably belonged to a court musician, and he probably played it every night.
Liz is one of those people, you just love her. She has this endless curiosity. She always wants to know more. She's always thinking about music, and she's fearless. She's willing to try anything. She can translate what I'm saying about musical ideas into language that violinists and viola players and cellists can understand. We decided to do that string trio by John Antes. He started school here when he was like 7 years old in Bethlehem, became a Moravian minister and then a missionary, and but was a wonderful composer. He was 10 when Bach died in 1750. His music has an American feel, but kind of a universal feel. So that was our tribute to the Moravians. The Bach Cantata 66, which is a cantata that he wrote for the day after Easter. This, of course, is a cosmic event that Bach is talking about. Bach, the fifth evangelist. At the end, there's a dialogue between the tenor and the alto voice, where the alto represents fear and the tenor represents faith or assurance. Und wenn sich auf Brust, will ich in Gott zu siegen.
When I hear the human voice singing those lines, it just goes straight to your heart. And that's where you see that Bach is able to speak to the entire palette of human expression.
A lot of places you could go and do that Bach cantata, and people would say, oh, that was very nice, thank you, what's next? And here, people are standing up, and it's like they just receive this music with a sense of deep appreciation and understanding.
It's still sacred music to me. And to me, there is no composer that compares to Bach.
And I think what people find here is what brings us together. What is our common ground? And when you share this experience and you're part of, 1,000 people who are just reveling in this music, you think, there's hope. There's something that I can hang on to. And that's Bach's gift to us, I think.
Thank you, Grover. More information on the Bach Choir and its schedule is available at bach.org. We'll share a special extended performance coming up later in the show. But first, we cross the Lehigh River to the eclectic Bethlehem neighborhood known as the South Side, where Focus reporter Brittany Garzillo recently learned about an arts program capturing the people and culture of this community. Brittany?
Thank you, Laura. Since 2012, a program called Faces of the South Side has celebrated the people who live, work, and volunteer in this part of Bethlehem through a series of portraits. Who's capturing these photos? The answer may surprise you.
The first reaction I get from the community is always, wow, Ryan, those are great photos. And I say, they're not mine. They think they're mine, and I've been doing this for 30 years.
We'll change your angle.
While many photographers focus on the faces in front of the camera, Ryan Holvat is inspired by the ones behind it.
I see some of these students' work, and I look at it and I go, I wish I had taken that photograph. And that's, pretty unusual for me to say.
Think of all the possibilities just with this.
When Holvat isn't working as a commercial and editorial photographer, you can find him sharing the secrets of shutter speeds, ISOs, and f-stops with students in a free after-school program called Faces of the South Side.
Faces of the South Side is an innovative after-school enrichment program offered through ArtsQuest. It's a really innovative program that allows students to not only learn the basics of photography, but it also teaches them life skills, better communication skills, and helps improve their self-confidence.
Organized by the nonprofit ArtsQuest and funded with grants from area businesses, the 6-week program captures community members through the eyes of Brockle Middle School students.
We come from a varied socioeconomic, cultural background, all of our students. We have an 88 to 90% free and reduced lunch.
Many of them, again, lack the resources to come and take a photography class on their own. And also many of them don't realize what we have to offer right here down the street from them here on the South Side.
Having programs like this for our students just expose them to the arts in a different way.
A way that combines technical photography skills.
It looks really nice. I like that a lot.
And a helping of character education.
They'll come in, they'll get a snack, and then we'll start to engage that conversation with our guests. Students are meeting with somebody from the community and breaking bread and sharing a meal.
Inside the Banana Factory Arts Center in South Bethlehem, Ryan and his fellow instructors, which include his wife Dawn, guide students through informal interviews with their soon-to-be subjects.
Today is a shooting day, so we'll have 2 guests come in, Chef Alan from Cafe The Lodge, as well as Ernest Pyle, who's a friend of mine who is an amateur photographer and also a scientist with a pharmaceutical company.
They get to meet amazing guests and the important members from the community, to talk with them, see their values, share their love of things, and hear their witness to life.
Students take notes during the interviews before they head outside to capture their newfound friends on camera.
It was really cool to meet 2 people who had a really good impact on me. Even if you don't want to be a photographer when you're older, it's a good experience to go through. It's not just about photography. You learn so much more.
I think most important that I have seen is they're learning social skills. They're learning how to meet a stranger, introduce themselves, find a way to work with that person, to take their picture.
What do you think?
That's good. That really is good.
After weeks of shooting, students selected their best work to display during the Southside Arts and Music Festival.
When they see their work on exhibit, whether it be here at the Banana Factory like it is today, or in the future in other locations throughout the South Side, it allows them to bring their families in, their friends in, and really take a sense of pride in what they've worked so hard to accomplish.
I'm actually really excited because this is something I actually been really wanting to do. I feel like it's an opportunity for kids to get exposed to what photography is and what it is to you.
At the end of the program, students receive digital copies of all of their photographs.
To have Ryan put a camera in their hands the very first day and say there's no mistakes, take as many pictures as you want, it just makes them bloom. It makes them feel confident. It makes them experience things that maybe they never got a chance to before.
An experience that helps students discover life lessons through the lens of photography, alongside community members that care.
I teach because it inspires me. I'm learning all the time, and they're inspiring me.
For Focus, I'm Brittany Garzillo, reporting.
Thank you, Brittany. We continue to applaud the work of our young creative community members with the PBS 39 Student Artist of the Month.
I'm Sophia Ruth, and I'm the PBS 39 Artist of the Month, and I do glass blowing. I like to blow glass because you get to do any color you want, you get to do the shapes, and it's just fun. This is my glass blowing piece. It's called Fragile Fall. It's special because the glass on the outside of it mirrors it, and you had to stamp it in a special tool to give it ridges. It's just pretty. When I do glass blowing, I feel just out there. To be a great artist, you have to just do what you want with the piece you're working on. You can pretty much do any shapes you want to. I'm Sophia Ruth, and I think it's cool to be the PBS 39 Artist of the Month.
Congratulations, Sophia. Brittany, I remember when you tried your hand at glass blowing back in season 2 of Focus.
I know, that seemed like it was so long ago, but still a lot of fun, and I still have my souvenir from that. But let's talk about the Faces of the South Side. Oh my goodness, this student work, it looked professional.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. What an amazing, and to start out with, you're thinking it must be his work, and it turns out to be the students, and he takes such pride in it, as they do, of course.
And every photo captures such emotion and such detail. And speaking of emotion and detail, certainly you can feel it watching the performance from the Bach Choir.
Well, you know, we have the great joy of reporting stories, writing stories, but every once in a while you get to experience a story, and that's how it felt doing this one on the Bach Choir and Bach Festival Orchestra. And you know, Bach in German means brook, and it was another great music master, Ludwig van Beethoven, who said of Bach, rather than brook, his name should be ocean, because he had such great influence. Wow. So, and in any case, Bach to you, Laura.
Well, on that note, thank you, Brittany, thank you, Grover, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week and leave you now with an excerpt from that performance from the Bach Choir of Bethlehem and Bach Festival Orchestra performing Johann Sebastian Bach's Cantata 66, Be Joyous Our Hearts. This program is recorded at the PPL Public Media Center at PBS 39 in Bethlehem.